That was possibly quite possibly the best pre-game hype video we could have had for this final. This is Big Chungus TV versus Anvil. This is Team Fortress TV, and we are very excited for you. And we're very excited for us. We're very excited for all of Team Fortress 2 community tonight being able to watch this game. So, Antlers, I think we should run through the lineups while the gamers are still joining the server. On tonight for Big Chungus Gaming TV, on the Scouts, we have Hexu and Wizard Pirate. On the Soldier classes, we have Shasti and the other guy who's aliasing, and Manskirt and Rave. And then for Anvil, we have Trippa, Veg, Ben, Tony B, Jordan, and then Impala, and that is on the Scouts, Soldier, Demo, and the Medic class, respectively.
You know, I've actually heard some pretty good things coming from Verge about his sniper gameplay, so I'm actually pretty interested to see how that might turn out for this upcoming Grand Finals.
Yeah, I think well, it'll be an interesting game. You know, just looking at the seedings, if I'm recalling correctly, I think Big Chungus was 4th seed going into playoffs, and then I think Anvil was 10th. I'm gonna double check that real quick.
That's still very interesting, though. I mean, it's not really commonly that where you don't have a top seed team, at least in the top 3, making it to Grand Finals. It really just shows you how topsy-turvy low-level TF2 can really just end up being.
Yeah, so yeah, it was Big Chungus 4th, Anvil 10th. I know Big Chungus, they were undefeated for quite a while during the season, ended up dropping around. But I was talking to one of my good buddies, Trots, who has been playing with a bunch of the Anvil gamers, and he actually sent me a lot of thoughts on the various players for Anvil, because I don't know too much about them. He's saying that Trippa and Veg, the scout, and Veg also being able to off class on sniper, are able to mix it up. They've got very strong DM skills. J-Rod, you know, Trots has said time and time again he sees them get 3K, 4Ks in fights. And even then, you know, the soldiers are quite good too. Tony B, according to Trots, is an old legend from UGC. He played Iron, Plat, just says Iron, parentheses, or Plat, before quitting and returning. And then Ben apparently also has magic bombs as well. So this is, you know, well, it's very cool to see a team that was a 10th seed coming all the way to the finals. That really shows you how much teams can improve in such a short period of time. To go from 10th seed to in the finals is no small feat. But you know, we've also got Big Chungus Gaming as well. These guys, I've worked with them a little bit. They, you know, they're very tight knit. Having sat in their comms a couple times, they don't really tilt. They don't really let the occasion get to them. They're very focused on the task at hand. So I think they'll put up a tough fight, but they have had a couple roster shakeups. For a while, Hexu was on Scout. Then he switched over to Demo. Then he switched back to Scout. And then they brought in Manskirt. They moved Rave from Soldier to Medic. So they've got all these different roster lineups, but it seems that they've managed to find a good level of cohesion working together. So I think, you know, I say this every cast, but it's true. I think what it's going to end up being is a great night of TF2, where we're going to see, it might be scrappy, it might not be the prettiest TF2 that you've ever seen, but it is sure as hell going to be entertaining.
Absolutely. I'm all down to see what's happening with these low-level teams. And actually, from what I recall, I remember that I was talking to Mansker, the demo man for Big Chungus Gaming TV, a little while ago, and he was talking about how these roster changes that they made actually brought together their cohesion a lot better. And it helps them come back from rounds that they might have lost otherwise, which is pretty interesting to hear about.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
Oh, please go on. No, I insist.
Okay, all right. I was going to say that I'm definitely excited to see how this is going to turn out. I don't know a whole lot about the two different rosters. I don't have a lot of experience with Open, but I'm definitely excited to see where tonight takes me.
Definitely, man. And like I think the important thing as well, having spoken to the Big Chungus members and having spoken to Trots and a couple of the Anvil members, seems like they all have really good attitudes and really good approaches to the game. So I think say in the first map, Chungus drops 2 rounds and goes into halftime maybe 3-1 down. They're not going to be the type of team that's going to let that kind of fester. They're going to be like, all right, what's the issues that we're having? How do we fix this? How do we revert this? How do we get back on track and finish out this map with a win? They having spoken to, I mean, I'm in the team to be honest, but I'm trying to stay unbiased. But having been in the comms a couple times, they're very much a second half team. So expect them if they start dropping rounds early to go into that halftime and to reconvene and have a stronger second half. But Anvil as well. I've been looking at their logs, and they're certainly going toe to toe with some IM and even some main teams. So both teams, especially for open, are very very strong. And yeah, I think like I said, it's just going to be a good night of TF2. So the maps we have for you guys tonight, we're starting on Granary. Yes, the infamous Granary making its return to American TF2 for RGL Season 2. And according to some insider sources, could be the last time we see it for quite a while. I hope not, because I do love Granary. But we're going to start out on Granary. This was Big Chungus's choice. And then after Granary, we're going to go to Anvil's choice of Snakewater. And if we're lucky enough to have a 3-map thriller, we'll be finishing the map and the series out on Clear Cut. Another new introduction into the RGL playoff, or just the RGL season, but it's actually been getting a lot of playtime in playoffs this season. So it's good to see that when new maps are added to the map pool, that teams are really embracing them and trying and testing them out and seeing what they're how they play and picking them in playoffs, man.
Absolutely. I'm actually pretty excited to see how Granary plays out. I know for a fact that you can really tell a difference between a team that's played the map before, especially in like SIVO or ESEA, where they just have a lot more experience playing the map a lot more slowly, which is kind of what you need to do sometimes, especially on Granary. And a lot of newer teams that just don't have that experience could be at a disadvantage with that. And so watching these two, relatively newer teams, I know they've got some old players, especially Manskirt. Overall, it should be really interesting to see how these newer teams play that out.
100%. Just gotta tell the two teams that they're free to ready up. Technically, they're free to ready up whenever they want. But just in case, sometimes there's the stress of like, oh my god, we're going to be on TV or Twitch, basically TV. They might forget to hit the F4 button. Hopefully one day it's not going to be live on Twitch. It's going to be live on ESPN. But we're working on that. Valve, please give us money. We're desperate.
Hey man, maybe the quarantine will shake things up for us.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly given a lot of people opportunities to watch some competitive Team Fortress 2 in this quarantine. We've seen, even ETF2L, the Europeans, have their lockdown showdown, which is in replacement of the Copenhagen LAN, which unfortunately was canceled due to coronavirus. Wash your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe out there.
Absolutely. This is no time to be messing around with your health.
I mean, it is. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you what to do. Like, I'm not your mom. Just wash your hands. Keep other people safe. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be an interesting off season too. I know there's a couple talks within TFTV and some various other organizations to have some cups. Hopefully, I've got something in the works. Hopefully, we can bring North American TF2 some exciting action in the off season. Even Australia, we've got some stuff in the works. So it's out of a crisis, the crisis being people dropping dead in the streets of the coronavirus, we're able to get some good stuff out of it in TF2. Sorry, it's a bit dark, bit morbid. Rest in peace to all the those who passed away. But it's just,
I mean, in terms of different community events that are coming up, there are definitely a lot of events across the world, starting with the lockdown. What is it? The lockdown shakedown? in the EU. The Copenhagen replacement LAN. So that should be very interesting to watch. I think that's happening on April 11th. And on this side of the water, I know for a fact that RGL's been having some rumblings about an Ultido tournament, but I don't know if anything's actually in the works as far as how that goes yet.
Yeah. Well, Ultido would be sick. It's so, I don't know, Ultido is so exciting. I love it. But we've readied up in this first map of the grand finals. Who are we going to watch on this first mid?
I think I'm ready to watch Manskirt. He's already confidently rolling out through getting onto, not the health pack, but rolling through Shutter, and he looks like he's going to be taking a left push onto this, as looks like J-Rodna is a little slower to mid. Trapped off from the pack right now. It looks like the scouts are taking red crate, as looks like a red soldier's bombing in. Doesn't really seem to find anything. 2 picks coming out from Shasta.
Oh, there's a big bomb on Rave. Oh, Ben goes down. Oh, if you look at everything, Anvil's already dropped 3 players, and the 2 players remaining, Chip and Tony, are weak, and they have already left. So that's gonna be convincing first mid. You know that as soon as that round or the mid fight started, the frags started coming out, and Big Chungus converts 2 of them, and they don't get the med, but they do have about 20% ad. But I don't think they're going to realize how much ad they actually have. It is about 30% ad. They've actually been building this quite well. But it looks like they're just content, maybe just to start playing some sack games here. Anvil does have an engineer up at the moment. He's building somewhere. I can hear him whacking his.
Looks like we might see 2
sentry.
soldiers coming out of left side right now. One looks to be faked, as the demo actually bombs in super high, tries to get on the medic. 3 picks coming out from Anvil.
A 3-man sack. You love to see it. Low level TF2, everyone. A 3-man sack. But look at this. They're hiding right outside Zed. Looks like they're waiting for some cap time. No, they just decide to back out and cut their losses. A 3-man sack, very interesting. I guess, you know, early in the round, you might as well throw some stuff at the wall, see if you can force any mistakes early on. But now they're just going to see a, you know, some spam being exchanged
sniper
in the yard.
on the side of Big Chungus with Fancy Sun. He's trying to get an angle right now through Garage, but unfortunately isn't really able to find anything, as Manskirt's trying to create a little bit more space for him to play with. And it actually looks like Red has actually fallen back onto their point rather than playing in yard. Blue's getting this relatively for free. But a couple traps coming out into the onto the point from Manskirt, as looks like Blue is trying to get some angles.
Yeah, they're doing their best to start creating some space for themselves. Veg also has come up on Sniper, so we might see a little Sniper v Sniper action here early on in the game. Tony B does go down in Lunchbox. Shasi then gets cleaned up by Ben. So, you know, both teams trading players right there. Just trying to get some space, trying to get some frags here. There's just heaps of spam going on to this point at the moment. Well, Fancy says trying to get an angle, but Veg is going to take out Manskirt with a big shot from the left side Shutter, and that's going to be cue for Anvil to start maybe pressuring in a little bit more.
It actually does look like they're coming through Z with their medic right now. Their entire combo pushing out rather than from Shutter through yard onto Blue, as their medic is actually forced into right yard, trying to back up into their garage right now. Picks traded on both Red and Blue right now.
Fancy Sun does go down.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're still really aggressive here, and Gary, they're gonna get the Uber forced out, just in desperation, trying to get Veg. He does go down, but Anvil has not used their Uber. This is a really bad position
Big Boom
to be
actually
in
coming out, dropping the medic.
Drops the medic!
On 0. I guess no one was really watching the garage as one of their soldiers bombed onto 0. Looks like Blue Medic is actually able to escape and is back on mid with his team. Only 3 players alive right now, and they are actually already on last.
Yeah, that's probably the safe play. You know, you really got to cut your losses there. It was a good bomb. I think it was Shasti who got the med drop. So good heads-up play. Maybe there was a 300 IQ open play using the Uber there, distracting the rest of the team. But now Big Chungus with a 30% ad, but they are going to be going up against a Heavy, an Engineer, and a Sniper class in this last push. The Heavy is playing on the point, though. He has not taken the high ground, which is what you normally would see on a Granary last hold. So we'll see what the game plan is.
From him. You
Oh,
can see that the
100%.
sentry is actually coming out on left. We can see that the soldiers are right now kind of playing back in terms of Big Chungus gaming. Nothing really aggressive yet, despite them having a 40% ad that they're actually losing
Well,
pretty
check
quickly. The Uber
this
comes
top
in.
pipe. Yeah, the Uber comes in on the top pipe. They haven't gotten any frags yet. Tony B and Shosty go down. The heavy gets taken down immediately. Ben is down. That sentry's still up. It's doing a lot of work. The sentry goes down now as well. And now it's just a dry fight across the point. Hexu goes down. Manskirt goes down. It's only Fancy Sun and Wizard Pirate up at the moment. And Rave is already out. Rave and Wizard, as soon as that went south, we're out of last almost as fast as you can be. So this is going to be full disad on the side of BCG TV. Anvil capping second right now. Looks like they're definitely just going to roll that straight into mid.
We are seeing Shosty actually walk through the tunnel, trying to get behind right now onto the soldier behind.
Yeah, but the Uber gets used in yard. Used quite early. Doesn't really accomplish much. And Big Chungus just opts to rotate into Gary and continue to trade spam. Yeah, as soon as Anvil realized they weren't getting anything with that Uber, they just held their place. Shosty is hiding a little bit in Lunchbox, but he ends up going down. He feeds. Why do they call it Lunchbox, ladies and gentlemen? Because that's where players go to feed. And Shosty gets taken down as a result. So Uber ad situation on the side of Big Chungus again. They're opting to take this in yard. I think they might just want to take this in full in off the bat. There's no players really that they can get if they use in. So
there's actually a sniper
just
watching the point right now as well. A little bit of spam coming up from the upper ledges as Manskirt actually does go down from Veg, the sniper.
Yeah, they're showing Manskirt absolutely no respect there. Just pops his head off, one click. Pa-pow!
It does look like Blue's still trying to take this anyway, despite them being down a demo. You can see that they have a soldier right now sitting in Lunchbox, waiting for any aggression that might come forward, and the rest of the team either sitting in Lunchbox as well, or the medic and the scout on the roof. But red team actually does take a point again, as it looks like there's gonna be Fancy Sun trying to get into last right now, but he does end up caught out. Trades with Tony B.
Yeah, standard soldier trade. Shosty creating some havoc up from that balcony area. He's gonna get found out by Ben, and he should be going down here. I don't think he has enough health, but it looks like he gets out of Lunchbox into the safe arms of his medic's crossbow. They do end up capping the point in the meantime, and they're just gonna take this in dry. This is a dry fight. Oh, and Brave dropped a big bomb, or big meat shot by Veg, but then Ben comes up and cleans up everything, and it's just Fancy Sun and Shosty. Shosty's going to get found out trying to make a little last play happen, and it's just Fancy Sun is going to be up. He might just opt to see if he can get any sort of pressure here.
It looks like he's choosing to stay into Z right now, as we can see Red Medic and Combo pushing through onto the point right now. Soldier's still behind. I don't think he's been found out yet.
I don't think he has been. Yeah, the back cap is on, but they have to block point right now. It doesn't look like they're in a position to block the point. Yeah, the block. Oh, they do block the point, but Shosty. No, Fancy Sun's still up. He's still getting cap time on this point. He's so close to actually capping the point. Could Shosty, or could Fancy Sun, could the first cap in this last grand final be a back cap? I think it is. He's on the point. He's getting cap time. There's only one person. It's Veg. He's going to do his best, but it's not going to be enough. Big Chungus
coming out too.
TV 1-0 up with the infamous Greg back cap. Now that is a way to kick off the grand finals. You know, what a bit of a smart heads up play there, hiding out in Z, trying to just see if he can bait some players out. Doesn't even get found out. Caps the point. 1-0 Big Chungus. Let's see what's happening in this second mid-fight. We got Manskirt up on high ground, shooting sticks across the point. He's being supported by Hexu. Shosty with a big bomb in, does not find anything. No frags yet. Tony B goes down. Impala goes down. Fancy Sun with a big rocket to take him down. And then Trippa, Jordan all goes down as well. Rave is still alive. He's doing a really good job of keeping himself alive in these two mid-fights we've had so far. Veg is going to be chased real hard by Wizard Pirate and Hexu, and they're going to go down, and they're just going to leave a soldier to cap. And the scouts are already on second. They are gung-ho. They don't want to give Anvil any breathing space. That's going to be a full wipe. It's going to be a 3x on the cap, and now Big Chungus is going to have Uberad, and Anvil hasn't gotten all their spawners yet either. They're going to take it in far right. getting some cap time, or getting some pressure. Wizard Pirate gets flashed in. He's doing his best to try to gun down this demo. The demo still has not gone down. Veg is trying to do his best. They're doing their best to block the point, but Wizard Pirate playing the point. He knows what to do in these last rounds. 2 rounds in quick fire succession. 2-0 Big Chungus Gaming.
You actually see a lot of soldier aggression coming on these mids from Big Chungus that just really gives them the advantage. And as we all know, Granary is one of those maps where mids are really dictative in terms of how the rest of the game is played out. And these soldier bombs, this massive aggression is just really, really useful. But as we're coming into this next mid, it looks like J-Rana was a little slower again, as Mansker does take the high ground, does drop down. It looks like Big Chungus is actually all on the low ground here. My bad, sorry. Anvil is actually all on the low ground here. Mansker is really low, but does manage to get out. Zero managing to stay alive, getting the pack, and it does look like Anvil has the high ground a bit more here, as they're trying to collapse onto the medic. That's a full wipe.
That's a full wipe. You know, that's the way to respond when you go down 2 rounds very quickly, is, you know, just take it to the next mid fight and just kill everybody instead. It's gonna be a good mid fight, a good recovery from Anvil to take that second mid fight. And yeah, now Big Chungus looks like they're just opting to get off classes as much as they can on the point. We have an engineer from Hexu, Wizard Pirate, out on the heavy weapons class. Soldiers up on height though. They are playing the soldiers on the pipe very, very well. And that's really the key to winning these Granary last fights, is controlling this height advantage. And yeah, as you can see, it's just Manskirt and the engineer on the low ground, but even then the Envy's building a nice little dispenser, keep his heavy and his medic at 450 and 150 apiece. So
we should be seeing a push here actually coming in hopefully pretty soon before Big Chungus actually gain back the Uber advantage. And it looks like they're trying to push in from right side right now with double scouts and demo. No soldier will be able to bomb as the Uber does come out. Demo does retreat back into spawn. The sentry is actually doing a lot of work here in denying these players.
There's a lot of players weak on the side of Anvil. The med goes down. The med, 1 scout, 1 soldier, and the demo all go down in that last push. Really, really well done on the side of Big Chungus to really ride out that pressure, especially at a full disad situation. Ben opts the sack in, gets cleaned up by Fancy Sun. There is 1 more player hiding out on second. Trippa has not been spotted. He is gonna cap.
Verge actually managed to get the force onto the blue medic in that time span. Yeah, it looks like they still have a soldier hiding in forward spawn on mid too. But it looks like overall, Blue's taking this pretty decisively. They don't know about the soldier coming in quite yet from the forwards, as it looks like the demo for red is backing out, trying to maybe push in again from
Tony's in
now.
now,
doesn't look as much regression.
And he takes down Rave. Smart play, hiding out in that forward spawn. That's going to reset this this Uber situation. Now Anvil has full ad. But all of Big Chungus are opting to just try to brute force their way through Death Corner, otherwise known as choke for the Americans in the room. But they're not going to get anything.
Actually, you're going to lose 2 in that process as well.
Yeah, and they're just going to turn tail and run all the way out, back into yard, and they're going to reconvene in the safe arms of Rave the medic. A really smart play by Tony B, just to be very, very patient, waiting for that cap time on mid. And but now you're seeing Anvil start to pressure in. They're opting to push in through Gary. They haven't committed through just yet, but now they have committed. They've committed all the way far right into right yard, trying to do some sort of wrap play, at least start getting some pressure. And they're opting to move into second right now.
The Uber actually does come out. Team. Rave is only at 74%, trying to keep alive as Red is trying to push forward, but unfortunately they don't aggress far enough to actually pick off Rave, as he actually does manage to get back into spawn. And Anvil takes up their Blue Chungus is second. Soldier is trying to get out here. He does manage to escape at 49 HP. And it looks like we're going to see 2 down trying to hold last here, while Anvil is holding 60 disad.
Yeah, Ray was really well positioned to kite that Uber out, and well, we'll see what they have to where they opt to push in. Looks like they're moving up on top pipe. They might take an Uber exchange on the soldier. Uber has not come out yet. Ben does go down, and they're just going to use on Fancy Sun, and he's going to start taking a lot of a lot of big jumps. He's gonna shotgun Impala down,
Wow.
resetting those ads. The shotgun pocket theory is back in style in RGL Open. You really do love to see this, folks.
And it looks like that Raven's just going to be building up this Uber again, as Zero has just now spawned, not even healing yet. Blue team trying to take into yard, but their medic is their most aggressive player, so it looks like they're going to have to back up. Looks like
I think Hexu had gone down there, and then Wizard Pirate was on heavy. Actually, Wizard Pirate is still in on the heavy weapons class, holding second right now. I'm wondering if they're going to push out with that. I mean, if you've already committed to second, you might as well commit to the rest of the push. And they're going to start. Are they going to move? No, they've opted just to stay stagnant in second. And Fancy Sun is trying to get some space made. The heavy weapons has finally shown his hand, and they're just moving into Gary now. They have Uber. They're going to use Uber on Hex, trying to violently chase down this med. It does not get anything. All they get is Ben for their troubles, and looks like Big Chungus are going to opt to get some cap time on this point.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing just a leapfrog situation here, as mids just being exchanged over and over, while it's still 2-0 in terms of score for Big Chungus Gaming TV.
Yeah, well, it seems like Anvil's really they've found their footing in the match. They're a bit unlucky, especially on that first round being a Greg backcap play versus a conventional last push. Maybe they're unlucky there, but that second round to come back from a second round and sort of level the game out just a little bit, is quite good. But they're going to have to start getting rounds on the board.
Actually, Fancy Sun coming in through the flank right now does end up getting a shotgun pick, but does end up trading out with Trip Up.
Wizard Pirate opts to show himself as the heavy on that near that hose area and just gets picked off by the sniper.
That's actually really unfortunate. That's another 3-man sack.
Well, actually, look what's happening right now. All of ANVIL is pushed into mid, but Big Chungus have just completely gone behind them. They've got a 4x on second cap.
They're
just completely wrapped them.
Here.
Oh my God! Another back cap play is on. Hexu is just full force into last. We've had 2 back cap plays. Too. Oh my God! Greg, you see it? A Greg back cap play. 3-0 Big Chungus. That was really well played. I don't actually know if you saw that. They opted to, they were really patient. They were seeing which way is ANVIL going to push in, and then as soon as they saw, okay, we're committing Death Corner, they committed through Gary instead. So they're going to go into this half 3-0 up over ANVIL. 2 of those 3 caps are back caps. Oh my God.
I mean, that has to be a lack of foresight too, coming from ANVIL, not having any players to put on flank.
Yeah, well, it seemed like they're just really. I mean, they saw 3 players go down. When you see 3 players going to have gone down, you expect, okay, well, we can just all go in. Yeah, maybe send 2 through Gary. Actually, while I was watching that, I did see one of the ANVIL players started going towards Gary right when Rave and Hexu were going into right yard, and he just did not see them, and that allowed Rave and Hexu and Manskirt really to get on that second point uncontested. And looking at the glow outlines, I thought I saw maybe there was a call, maybe Veg was going to come back, but not. It wasn't until that 4x on the cap had started that you really saw the players start retreating and try to get back on the point. But by that point, it was too late. They had 1 spawner, but as soon as the point was capped, Rave just uses Zuber on Manskirt, and that distracts the soldier enough for Hexu to go and cap the point. So, yeah, two back caps on Granary. How good is that?
I mean, this is just classic TF2 here as well. Really love to see this happen. Actually, though, we talked a little bit earlier about how both these teams were talking about how they really just enjoyed being able to come back after losing a couple of rounds, both ANVIL and Big Chungus. And I'm wondering, what do you think is going to happen this next half? Do you think that ANVIL might make a comeback?
I mean, for the sake of a good game, I hope to see a comeback. Yeah, man. Like, I think ANVIL, having spoken to a few of their players and a few of the players that are close to them, they have a good attitude. And I think I think they're going to feel a bit hard done by because two of those caps, they were back caps. It wasn't as if it was them valiantly holding last and just losing based off of positioning or an Uber exchange. It was solely just like Big Chungus just opting to wrap them or just keep one player behind. So I think in terms of how the game has actually been playing out, it's been very even, and it's just been frags or Anvil's push last once or twice, and we're just unlucky in not being able to convert that into a round. So I think Anvil is still very much in this. They're 100% in this, but they have to get around early on the board in this second half. And they really have to, they're going to be, now that they've been back capped twice, they're going to be having a player almost permanently baiting a little bit, lagging behind, just to make sure there's no players coming in behind. So, but I think Big Chungus as well, they're going to be galvanized. They're going to be really energized off of those, two back caps. Whenever you get a back cap, in the comms, all the boys get really hyped. So I think, if I were to make a call, I would say Big Chungus is probably going to take the map, but I think Anvil has enough in them, both in terms of raw skill and teamwork, to at least give them something to think about. Hopefully we go to a golden cap. I think that'd be the most exciting part. What if we went to a golden cap and then the cap was a back cap to win the game?
Oh my god. That would just be amazing. Imagine a golden cap every single round here.
Oh my god.
Let's have an EVL versus Tech situation again.
Yeah. I think our producer Looster, that honestly probably would be his favorite thing. I know how much he loves casting and producing TF2. So, but yeah, I mean, I think this has been a really exciting first match, and we're gonna ready up right now for the second half of the Open Grand Finals. Big Chungus versus Anvil. Take it away, Antlers.
All right. Well, I'm going to be watching J Rodna actually on this rollout. He's been a little consistently slower than the blue team's demo, but there's always a way to come back. Especially if those are just inconsistencies for us. He's actually coming out through the top of Garage. Manscard has already made it to mid, has already grabbed the health pack, has trapped off red team's health pack. Scouts taking up red crate for both teams right now. Looks like soldiers are trying to bomb in on Anvil's side.
Fancy takes down Jordan. But Manscard and Wizard Pyre go down. Rave goes down as well. It's just Fancy, Shossi, and Hexu up on the side of Big Chungus. They've got to get Trippa and the Med down. Those are the two weak and most important classes at the moment. But Impala has just been able to heal all of his players up, and it's just going to be Hexu as the last player up. Going to try to get some. He gets Trippa.
Wow.
He's still giving them a little bit of a headache. Can he get fed as well? Oh, he's doing a masterclass of dodging and weaving. He's on Impala. He forces the Uber out.
Incredible play coming out from Hex here.
Just not taken care of whatsoever. That's gonna give Big Chungus the Uber advantage, and they have not given up second. They're just gonna hold second, and yeah, they're already taking space in yard, trying to exchange sticks and grenades through that little opening into Gary.
We're going to see 30 ad coming out from Big Chungus Gaming, but I don't know how long it's going to last. Demos are both trapping off Choke, as Shossi's trying to move into Garage here. Soldiers remaining on high ground, spamming out any potential aggression coming in from blue team. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, it looks like they're opting to move this in through Gary. Try to get through like the little spam wall that they'll come across, but they've just decided just straight into Death Corner. They don't opt to commit all the way through. There were some Anvil plays who maybe were been in Gary for a little bit too long, but nobody gets cleaned up, so maybe they're in there the perfect amount of time. Who knows? But yeah, it looks like they're going to know the Uber situation has evened up. Ben is really aggressive in Gary. They're going to get the Uber force out to save Manskirt, and a couple flashes have come out. It's going to be Big Chungus with the better Uber, but nobody's really in a position to follow up. Rave gets taken down by Ben, and it's just Trippa. Well, it's Trippa, Tony B, and Jordan on Anvil, and then Fancy Son, Chossi, and Hexu on Big Chungus, and they're going to take this all the way to second. I don't think they realize how weak the other players are. Hexu has wrapped them through Z. He has grabbed the pack as well, and Big Chungus, it did have a sizable player advantage there for a moment. but it seems to have evened out. Hexy didn't really fully commit for the point where he maybe could have, but that's okay because he's just going to say, nope, you're going to play a little bit patient, going to wait for the med, going to wait for backup as well, and decide what our fate from there is.
It looks like we're looking at an even Uber situation as well, so we can see both teams hard building in Yard and in Shutter respectively. As we're seeing a couple of traps being set up, a lot of players actually leaning towards Lunchbox right now. Maybe seeing if they can get a pick of some kind on the flank. Unfortunately, looks like Tony B and Ben are playing passively enough that they're not going to be caught out, as Chausley actually does get killed by a trap, I can only assume. And the Uber is called out for both teams. And we see actually Sniper as well from Trippa.
Yeah, Trippa's on the Sniper class, so I wonder where he's going to try to get an angle. He's opting to rotate really hard through Lunchbox to try to get some sort of peek into right Yard. He hasn't gotten anything yet. Ben does go down from Manskirt, but yeah, nothing really happening. Fancy Sun also gets taken down by a big trap by Jordan, but yeah, I think they're just opting to trade classes, trade spam, and wait for that opening to open up, or maybe even force an opening. Wizard Pirate taking some space in Lunchbox, but I think he's just opting to do as much distraction as he can. You know, and if you're Big Chungus, you know, I know there's 25 minutes left on the second half clock right now, but you know, if you're Big Chungus, you can really afford to slow the game down and play a bit more patiently. Not as patient as the Europeans do, because that's snooze fest boring. Nobody likes to see that. But you know, you certainly can stop and really assess all of your options and
actually,
wait for...
Trippa does take out Wizard Pete on the flank, peeking through Shutter. Gets a headshot as well onto Shosty. Does end up finding...
He takes out Shosty.
That's an entire flank down in exchange for one scout pick coming from a trap from Menskirt. It looks like Blue's deciding to rotate back into Garage a little bit. Probably playing a little bit more passively now that they're down 2 players, as they're trying to find in.
Anvil's really slow to push out here. I know they do have the Sniper. They did drop Veg, which is going to really hamper their speed. But they had 2 good picks. They could have completely overwhelmed the flank and played passively and allowed the Sniper to continue to pick off classes. But they just opt to reset a little bit. And that's going to allow Big Chungus to get their spawners back and try to just reset. Shosty gets...
At the same time, though, imagine you're Anvil here. You're down 3. You don't want to, and you're already on holding your second even Ubers. There's no way that you'd want to be losing any more points if you'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a fair assertion. But
as we talked about that, Shosty does pick up 2 on flank. Does end up trading out. As Hex
picked
does...
up 4. They picked up Jordan as well. It's just Tony B. The Wizard Pirate, he's already on last. They're getting the 2x cap. The Uber does come out. The Uber's actually faded at this point. And it's just going to be a 6x cap. That's going to be Big Chungus 4, Anvil 0. So Big Chungus really in the driver's seat in this grand final, at least on Granary. We still have Snakewater to play and potentially Clear Cut, but Big Chungus really showing Anvil how Granary is played. Back caps, dry fights, and a second mid fight.
Manskirt actually, J-Ron picks up Manskirt early on.
Early.
As Blue tries to take up any ground they can, bombing both soldiers over the top. One soldier changes out, but it looks like both soldiers end up dying in the end. As Rave is actually running away. Looks like Big Chungus Gaming is actually backed up to their second after losing 3 of their players.
I was really unlucky. I was on the Manskirt cam for that rollout, and he arrives. He gets to that balcony area on 46 health, and as soon as he walks out, there's a sticky right at his feet, and you know, say a quick prayer and say goodbye, and that was all she wrote. In the mid fight for Anvil, so you know, I'm not gonna. It's a good mid fight. You know, they got the midpoint. Hexu is on the Sniper.
We all just bring out a headshot as well onto the
I was about to say
Red.
We all remember his Sniper frags in that that video we saw before the grand final.
We can't call that a frag video, no. Not legally.
We'll just call it an exercise in absurdist humor. How about that?
I'm ready for. I can take that. It looks the Sniper's actually playing on Shutter right now. Has to back up with the aggression from Ben. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get an angle for a little bit. as it looks like the teams are choosing to stalemate it out again, trying to find a way to get back into Blue's second. You can see that with Hex still on Sniper, we don't have any off classes yet for Anvil. Looks like they're just choosing to span this out and hopefully getting a pick at some point. You know, in this situation, actually, the last round, Shosley came up through the tunnel and was able to collapse on the flank, causing enough distraction for Big Chungus to move in. I'm wondering if we'll see something similar coming up from Anvil.
Yeah, I mean, you hope to see it, especially if you're Anvil, 4-0 down, 20 minutes to play. You can't afford to... you can at least for maybe another 5 minutes, but at some point you really have to start making moves happen and start really applying that positive pressure onto Big Chungus, especially since they're down a scout and they've only got a sniper up. They can afford to maybe play a little bit more aggro if they have calls on the sniper. Hexu has rotated all the way to left yard to try to get some picks, but he's going to get spammed out. But I think at some point you have to figure out a push that maybe isn't just going in through shutter.
J-Ronic does get picked off by the sniper. It looks like they're trying to exchange. They're dropping a scout as well to the same sniper. An Uber exchange comes out. Better Uber coming out for Blue as it looks like they're flashing a lot. Red is trying to escape through garage. A beautiful surf coming out from Zero as they're pushing out, as they're leaving through choke. There are still two Big Chungus gamers behind, just waiting to collapse on the players leaving, and that's pretty much a full wipe except for the one scout.
That's trip, but yeah, the rest are just the rest would just be spawners, right? At the very least, they're all the way out, So we've got Veg, Jordan, and Ben up on the side for Anvil, but at pretty big disad, and Big Chungus already really starting to take space in yard. Jordan's really weak. Jordan's going to be caught out here if he's not lucky. Yep, there we go. Jordan's down. Demo's down. That's a good pick as you'll get, except for the med. Veg is on the sniper class. A little sniper v sniper duel. Tony B goes down. Veg goes down. That's 3 players down on the side of Anvil. And Big Chungus, with full Uber advantage, I imagine, are just going to try to take this as fast as they can before the spawners come in. Fancy Sun comes in. They're getting cap time already. Nobody's noticed. Nobody's even touched the cap. And that's gonna be the last cap. That's gonna be Big Chungus Gaming TV 5, Anvil 0. That first map of the series going to Big Chungus in quite commanding fashion too. 2 back caps and 3 just otherwise really good pushes, either hyper aggro or very patient play. So yeah, Big Chungus taking the first map, but that's only map 1 of could potentially, as I said, be 3 maps. Our next map is going to be Snakewater, but let's see if we can get some logs. That's what I'm interested in seeing.
It's all about those stats. I will say, it looks like Big Chungus does have a lot better cohesion in terms of how their combo moves together. You can see even their flank just moves around much more as a blob than I could say Anvil does as well. They seem to be getting caught out a lot more, and that is really just to their detriment.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think Big Chungus, they're confident on Granary. Granary is a map that once they learned how to play and once they devise their own strats for how the map is played, they're I think they rate themselves as good as anybody on that map. Maybe not Protech, but they could definitely play some other invite teams on it. We'll see. But yeah, looking at the frag distribution, it is 74 frags to Anvil's 67, so they're quite neck and neck there. I think what it really just boiled down to, as you said, is that combo cohesion, is that I guess just the full team cohesion is the best way to put it, where you knew if they were moving in, the flank players would protect the flanks. If they're moving out, vice versa. The one back cap that they did where they went completely through Gary while Anvil was entering through Death Corner, that was really well coordinated. I imagine as soon as they saw, okay, they're committing Granary or committing Death Corner, because you would have seen Hexu run to Death Corner, okay, they're coming in, and then he immediately ran the other side, charioting Rave and Manskirt through. There's definitely a strong level of cohesion, and that was something I was talking about in the pregame as well. These are, at least on Big Chungus, they're a team of of just friends. You know, they've been friends for a long time, and I think the best team to have is a team of friends. And if you're all committed and you have good attitudes, which it seems like they all do, it just makes playing the game enjoyable, and it makes that teamwork that teamwork click almost immediately.
Absolutely, and as we were saying earlier, the ability to come back from a loss, as we're hoping Anvil we can see them doing as well. We've heard that they're able to do that. Is just an incredible skill to have, no matter what rank you're at. Especially if you're playing at a perhaps like the lower end of a div. Just being able to be hit and just come back and still have that attitude of wanting to improve and just wanting to play and enjoying your time. That's pretty key into just enjoying the game. Otherwise, there's no real reason to play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, the next map that we are going to see is Snakewater, and this is Anvil's map pick. I know they're maybe not as confident on Granary as they are this, but you know, when you're playing on the map that you pick, there's always that extra level of just like, okay, well, you know, this is more familiar territory. This is places we've been before. I mean, in Snakewater, it's the perennial pug map. We've all played it. Perhaps played it too much. Yeah, I'm not a big Snakewater fan, but that's neither here nor there. You know, I think Anvil being on this more comfortable ground are going to be able to play better. You know, Granary's such a weird map. It isn't really played in the way that a lot of other sixes maps are played these days, where you can really take advantage of that scout speed buff the meta gets as well, and just pump your scouts full of heals. You know, every class has a significant impact on Granary, whereas Snakewater, not to say that they don't, but it is more of a traditional sixes map in the way that we think the meta is run these days. So, you know, Anvil certainly has good players. You know, Trippa and Veg, both very capable scouts, very capable sniper and off classes as well. Ben and Tony, both good soldiers, and you know, J Rod Jordan, he was doing a lot of work on demo last round too. So, you know, Anvil is not out of this fight whatsoever. But
Absolutely.
they're
And
gonna they're gonna have to start this map strong and stamp their authority.
as we can also tell, looking at the logs from last time, you could also see that the scouts didn't really have as much impact as the soldiers and demos did, as you know, as Granary tradition goes. So hopefully we can see these scouts really just shine here on Snakewater and see what they can really bring to their teams. As obviously there's a lot more high ground here, a lot more ability to deny soldier bombers. And actually, what I'm interested about is the upcoming mids coming out from Big Chungus. We were able to see them in the past doing double soldier bombs almost every mid. And I'm actually pretty interested in seeing how that can be translated to Snakewater. I know that double bombing is actually a pretty common tactic here. So it could be that they employ a similar strategy overall, and we can see how that turns out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it seems like Big Chungus are just they're very willing to play that very aggro style of play on mid fights. And Snakewater, very aggro, can work out very, very well. It could work out very, very not so well. And I think as well, I think Anvil would have caught on to that double soldier sack play on the mid fights. And you know, you can maybe get away with it once or twice on Snakewater, but at some point, you know, you'll hope that Anvil, like, okay, well, they're just gonna send double soldier, just play really passive, or maybe the med goes opts to go catwalk instead of running through saw into the mid fight. So there are a couple different ways you can shake it up if you're on the side, or just if you're on either side in terms of how the mid fights go. I'm also very interested to see what sort of off-class plays we may or may not see. You know, I've been talking up this Veg sniper, and him and Tripper were hitting some good headshots. And you know, Hexu did come up on sniper last round, got a couple headshots, but I've still got a little bit of PTSD from that pregame frag clip that we saw. So, you know, I know it should be a good match, and we're just waiting for the teams to ready up at this point.
Actually, what I found pretty interesting about that the Hexu sniper right at the end was the team actually deciding to run sniper all the way through. Normally, when teams push in from second into mid, with Granary especially, they'll opt to send their sniper back to change back to scout just because of how powerful scout is. But they chose to stick with Hexu on Sniper, and that actually led to them being able to get a couple extra picks that they might have not had before.
Well, you saw that as well with the heavy class that they ran too, where they pushed their heavy all the way from last into mid, pushing second, and then as soon as you step foot into that yard area, you got picked off by a sniper. So I think they're confident in their players' ability to, if they come up on an off class, that they can continue to run it through the next stages of play until they drop dead or they win the round. So I think, you'll probably see a little bit more of that. I'm not sure if we're going to see the heavy out of last play, but maybe we'll see heavy to mid. Who knows? I was actually watching the I-65 Grand Finals last night while I was on my cycling machine, and I found out the strat to heavy to mid is you actually run him with the GRU, the gloves of running urgently, and then as soon as he gets to mid, he chills out and soft for a little bit, eats the DeLocas bar, the chocolate bar, to get him back up to full health, and then he enters the mid fight, a second or two late. But even then, that's still going to allow you to just have fully buff the heavy, give him 450, and just have him mow down any sort of jumpers, any sort of pressure. Anybody who takes steps foot on the midpoint is just going to have a heavy putting his minigun on him almost immediately.
I mean, at the I-65 finals, that was actually run by Silentes, right?
Yeah, that was a 7 play.
One thing that I'd like to talk about there is actually the whitelist regarding that. NA players actually have a bit more restricted whitelist, especially in comparison to EU, where that strat is probably run not as commonly, obviously, but it's still a fairly. If you're going to be cheesing, that's a pretty common cheese strat.
Yeah.
And with the GRU being banned in NA, that could be a really big difference maker.
The GRU's banned? Oh, come on. This shows what I know. Just coming out with strats that don't even apply to this region. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I am an OzFortress player. I'm not a RGL player. But that doesn't matter because we are on this next map, Snakewater, map 2, rollout number 1. I'm watching the man skirt cam. What are you watching?
I'm actually on the Jordan cam right now. He's actually coming from lower. Still looks like he's coming pretty evenly in time with man skirt as pretty standard hold takes across. Soldier bombs in onto the demo. Doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get anything before it's traded out by the scouts.
Impala gets taken down early by FancySim though. That's a good pick if you're big Chungus. They just have to play tight around their men, not allow any pressure, but there is a big soldier bomb coming onto Rave, and he lives with 16 health. So lucky there. Unlucky on the side of Tony B not to get any sort of frag there. But you can't fault the effort. Trippa is still hiding down in kitchen in that dungeon
He's actually
area.
being trapped off though by the demo from Blue, and looks like he's been found out already. As he takes a 1v1 with Hex and loses. So it looks like that's a pretty convincing.
Hex may not be able.
Mid.
He may not be able to hit the sniper shots, but he can hit the scout shots. And as a scout player, that's all you need. But they're going to take this into second. This is going to be a full advantage on the side of Big Chungus. They're just going to opt to stack the cap. Rave is already moving forward. I think we're probably going to see this taken in top left. They're getting players puffed up. They're looking like they're figuring out what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? They don't know what they're going to do.
Actually, every second that they're taking is actually a countdown clock until when they can't push anymore. Looks like Zero's hard building as well. It looks as the Uber comes in from the top right, Soldier on high ground gets taken out.
Sentry gets taken down.
And
gets taken down.
The scout from Blue's already on the med, trying to get that frag before he can get Uber in time. He does manage to get it out. Zero manages to get the Uber in time, able to defend it out. As looks like all the scouts get taken down. The medic gets taken down last, and it looks like the only surviving member of that push was Shostley, as he's getting out onto second right now.
And he's gonna crater. Yeah, it was very interesting. They got the med force, and then I think Hexu and a couple other plays backed out, but Rave overstayed his welcome greatly, especially as the medic, and just gets taken down. So instead of escaping with some sort of ad or some sort of any Uber, they're now facing a 30-40% Uber disadvantage. We do have Hexu on the sniper class trying to again prove everybody wrong, saying yes, I can't hit a shot, but he's gonna have to act quick at a disad situation. You can't afford to play passively as a sniper for
he's
too
actually
long.
trying to get an angle from window right now. Maybe perhaps turning towards sub, but he's being spammed out, so he's gonna have to back up. As it looks like Blue is actually hard building again on the point, but
well, they've built really well. They're 80% now. It's almost evened out.
Yeah, it looks like this might just have to stalemate just from lack of push time, unfortunately. But it looks like Red is still going to be pushing anyway. They're trying to get aggressive here. The force actually comes out from Fancy Sun. He does end up being taken out for his troubles, but
but they dropped 3. They dropped 3 in that exchange.
I mean, usually when it comes down to the forward spawns, if they're able to deny them, that could be really huge in determining how this next mid-fight might come out.
Yeah, they do get Manskirt, and they do get Hexu, who's able to swap back on the scout very quickly before the forwards are denied. That's good, but they still don't have soldiers to really do anything. But they don't care. They're just going to take an Uber exchange right now. It's not even going to be exchanged because ANVIL does not have an Uber. They haven't gotten any frags yet. They flashed both scouts. They're doing damage, but they're not getting frags. Ben does go down. Trip is down to 25 health. And Rave escapes into Saw, but he does not have any players with him, and he's going to have to retreat really quickly. As I say that, Veg is trying to do as much havoc on the back as he can. Rave does get an Uber Saw, so that's going to be good, but Impala Anvil ends up using the Uber. They take this into lobby. Wizard Pirate is behind them, trying to get anything that he can, but he does not get a lick of damage on any player, and now Anvil is just coming full into last. They don't care. They're just fighting this dry. We got Hexu on the soldier, or on the heavy, trying to get some players down. Trip is weak. And Big Chungus only has 2 players up. It's going to be a first cap for Anvil for the first cap of the night. Really good pressure and really good just allowing the pressure to snowball. They knew they had the ad. They knew that they had the player ad as well. And they convert that into the first round.
Just ended up coming down to the different scout Ubers that played out and their various amounts of success. I mean, when you watch the scout Uber going on 3 people and kill no one, it's got to be kind of disheartening for the push.
100%.
This next mid coming in, a soldier bomb does come in, but no damage actually. As a Bow Scout's taking high ground, second soldier bombs in from Big Chungus, just get taken out by the medic.
They're down 2 soldiers already, but they do have positioning, but they don't have players. It's just Manskirt, it's just Rave backpedaling as fast as he can. But I don't think he's going to get out. Veg is chasing him down like a man on a mission, and he does have a mission. His mission is get the med, and then Rave is going to go down. It's a really late med death that's going to be really good on the side of Anvil. But Hexu and Wizard Pirate immediately up on the heavy and the engineer, going to get a last hold set up as fast as they can. But that late med death, very unlucky and unfortunate for Big Chungus. But if you're Anvil, you're going to be really happy about that. You know, losing
also
2 rounds
taken down by a trap, trying to get too aggressive, maybe getting a pick, but does get caught out by Jordan. As we're looking to see a lower push, perhaps, with the demo and the scout coming in from the Anvil team. As it looks like they're trying to get buffed up, ready to play. Soldiers coming in from the top right, does get taken out by the heavy, but the Uber does come in through lower. Heavy does end up going down. Sentry Gun is still full HP, doing a lot of work in denying these players.
They've done a really good job kiting this. Manskirt is still up. Hexu is actually, he's still up on the engineer class as well. That Sentry has finally gone down, but Hexu needs to be on this point. He swapped off on the scout. He's doing some work. He needs to stay on this point, but he leaves the point for just a little bit too long. That's going to be 2-0 on the side of Anvil. 2 quick rounds in succession. A bit of a mirror of what happened on Granary. No back caps as of yet, but we might see some. You know, I wouldn't put it past either team. But Anvil, they're going to be really happy about that after losing 2 rounds early in Granary. To take 2 rounds early in Snakewater, it's a good turnaround.
Coming to this next mid, we're seeing even demos in terms of rollout speed again, as soldiers try to take high ground. An awesome air shot coming out from Shastley. Well done. Big Chungus is actually gaining a lot of advantage on space over point. The only player left still in is a scout, but he does manage to get out in exchange for Shastley. Looks like we have a pause, maybe?
We are paused. How good was that air shot, though? That was pretty sick. Is it a pause or is it a connection problem? Because I'm looking at the top left on my screen.
Yeah, it does look like the server's actually going down.
Ooh! Can we get an F in the chat, ladies and gentlemen? F in the chat for this grand final series.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, just coming down, those were impressive mids coming out from Anvil. If you're Anvil right now, you're probably feeling really strong about your upcoming plays. I mean, just look how aggressive they were and how successful they were at their Uber exchanges. I mean, maybe Snakewater is just their map. Maybe she didn't know granary.
So I'm getting a message from Hexu, the captain of Big Chungus, saying that the server has died and that they lost 3-0. I think that's halftime. We'll I'll send a couple messages back and forth.
Yeah, we can talk about the logs while we're waiting for a new server.
You wax lyrical about those logs. I'm gonna see if I can figure out what the situation is.
All right. Well, as soon as I get them up, I can start talking about them. All right. So as we can see with these logs now displaying on screen, we can see that Anvil has a much stronger kill rating than Big Chungus Gaming TV with a 44-18. That's actually double the kills. That's impressive. Looks like they're just being really aggressive and they're being forward with that aggression, and that's exactly what they needed to maybe just start coming back with this and bring us to a third map. Looks like overall the Ubers are actually relatively close, despite this being a 3-0 with 5 Ubers in terms of Anvil and Big Chungus Gaming only having 3. But one thing that's pretty important to note here is that Big Chungus actually won 2 out of those 3 mids, and that's definitely not something to just ignore completely either. You have to absolutely consider the factor of them winning the mids but not knowing the map as well as Anvil might, and just losing those team fights in exchange to those points that they're losing.
Definitely. Well, I'm finally on the logs at the moment. We're still looking for still waiting on that new server, but Jordan, the demo, doing a lot of work. 535 damage per minute. You know, that's just gonna let your scouts and your soldiers really just come in and be able to clean up and do the rest of the work for you, man. And also, I mean, he's still getting 11 frags at the same time in 0 deaths, no deaths whatsoever on the side of Jordan. So, and that was
That's
one of the things
that has to be a key factor.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things I was going to point out about the last map on Granary, is that even though his team wasn't doing as well as Big Chungus, he was still putting out a lot of damage. And I think now where you've got a more open map and you have a team, you know, I guess a map that the team is going to feel much more comfortable on, they're going to be a lot more, I guess, a lot more efficient with the damage and the frags that they're able to take and dish out. So, you know, Jordan being able to do that damage for Veg and Trippa and Ben and Tony B to follow up on is, I mean, that has to be like the key factor, you know. But then you look at Big Chungus and they're not getting the frags, they're not doing the damage. You know, both soldiers, you know, each mid fight I see them go down and they're maybe getting the med, but they're not getting a lot of the other frags. So, you know, if you're Big Chungus, 3-0 down, you know, they are a second half team, as they would happily admit. You got to wonder what the second half is gonna bring out, because it is not looking good at the moment.
I mean, if I had to make any guesses here, I'd have to say that it's very likely that we're going to continue seeing some Anvil rolling going on here.
Yeah. Well, we're still waiting on server, so, you know, it does happen like this, unfortunately. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes server issues do happen. Hexu is just saying, just reconnect to the server, and that it is quote-unquote working now. So that is my command for you, Looster and Antlers. But looks like we're back in. So, but we never know. So it's
just a retrain console and hope and cross our fingers.
That's it. That's it. What time is it over in America? I know you've got 1,000 different time zones.
It's currently 10:45 EST.
A nice evening, I guess late evening game at TF2.
I mean, considering it's just supposed to start at 9:30, it's a pretty long game so far.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is a nice, comfortable. It's just a little past, I guess, 3/4 past 12. It's 12:45. I always try to use these turns of phrase. I don't actually know how to speak English at any competent level if the viewers haven't caught on to that already. Either way, it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, which is nice because it means after this I get to go water the plants in my garden, hang out in the sun a little bit. Still social distancing, wash your hands, as I said earlier in the cast. But yeah, this is a fun way to spend early afternoon watching some TF2 with you guys.
I
And
was
the
just ready to
players,
go to bed after this. I'm kind of jealous of the afternoon timeline now.
well, this has been one of the fun parts about this whole quarantine and social isolation and all that. Not that I not like being not able to see anybody, but as a result, I've had a little bit more free time. I've been able to come in and cast some games on TFTV. I think I've casted like 3 finals so far. I only did like 3 casts before this, so just shows you the type of decision making that goes on at TFTV.
Exactly. This is my second one, but I did actually produce the RGL main grand finals as well.
That was a good game.
Yeah, that was actually an incredibly close game.
Well, we've had a
that's
lot
a
of
lie.
good,
It was a
we've had a
Team
lot of
Karma
good.
roll.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of really good series in these grand finals this season. The advance was really entertaining. The intermediate grand finals, baby, what a series! A 3-map thriller, golden cap, and then I don't know if you saw the clear cut, but the clear cut I think went to 3-3, and then at 3-3 on a Koth map, it's essentially another golden cap that you got to play. Probably some of the most entertaining TF2 I've watched in a while. And viewers, if you are curious, there is some Oz Fortress action coming up later on today. Very, very early EST, looking at 6 a.m. EST for the main and intermediate grand finals over for Oz Fortress. I think that's on TF Live. And then next week, our premier season wraps up as well. We're going to see the 2 best teams in Oz Fortress Prem Division dish it out. But I don't know what day that's going to be on. Just check TFTV. That's where we keep all this information. Both teams are in the server. I will let them know that they can ready up.
All right, so do you have any expectations coming in for the second half, Jez?
I think Anvil's going to be really confident. I think they've got that how you say, that big dick energy going at the moment. And I think again, having lost Granary, it was a lot closer a game than the scoreline suggests. But even then, losing 5-0 is always tough. But to then take 3 rounds very quickly is it's very.
I mean, we can't
it's very,
discount
very energetic. They're gonna be really riding the high.
I actually think that we might see a small comeback coming from Big Chungus Gaming. I think the pause time might have actually had some mentality improvements that they could have, just talked out some decision making that might have gone wrong. Or try to figure out the big problem that they had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in this in that little downtime that they've been allowed to have because of the server issues. They're gonna, they're the type of team where they're willing to take 10 minutes in between halves and talk about the issues and figure out what's going on. So I think Anvil is still going to have that that high test type of energy about them, but I think Big Chungus are also going to not roll over and take it like they were in the first half. So,
and if you're Big Chungus, that's all you really want to.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't win the map, you can't. You at the very least got to give them something to think about,
So I'm noticing overall that the demos seem to be the strongest players for both of these teams, in my opinion at least. And I'm wondering how that might take into account once they start playing Clear Cut as well. The pretty big demo-heavy Koth map.
Yeah, it's a big demo map. I mean, it's also a big soldier map too. And I think you've seen, at least on Snakewater, you've seen Ben and Tony come in and do a lot of work for the rest of their team. So, yeah, I think if we go to Clear Cut, we're gonna see Anvil. We're gonna see Jordan especially do a lot of work, but we'll see how we go because now, I mean, we're still on Snakewater. We still have another half to play. Big Chungus are at a 3-0 deficit, and they have readied up. We're just waiting on Anvil to ready up as well. But the teams, yeah, Anvil, I mean, Big Chungus, they really have to figure out a way to shut down Jordan because he was doing so much work that first half. 535 DPM is absolutely insane on a Koth map. On a 5CP map, it's especially nuts. So it'll be interesting to see how they recover from this. They had good mids, but they weren't able to ever make those mids into a last cap.
Yeah, you could definitely see that the mids were definitely less one-sided than they were on Granary. With I think Anvil only one mid in terms of Granary, but one out of three as well. Actually, doesn't seem like the mids are their big game here. But hopefully we can see some more back and forth Team Fortress 2 action right here on Team Fortress TV.
That's right, Team Fortress TV, your home for competitive Team Fortress 2.
And we have
readied
live as
up.
well.
We have ready. Yeah, that's right. We have readied up for the second half of Snakewater. Server issues have been fixed. I am on the Manskirt cam, seeing what he does on his rollout. He is looking like he's opting to roll out under, and as has Jordan. He's going to start getting sticks across early. No damage as of yet. He has trapped off that height, and then Jordan just focused immediately. They do get the med, but they drop 3 in the process. Hexu has gone down. It was just a mad sack for the med. It's just Rave and Manskirt up on the side of Big Chungus. They're going to be backpedaling. Trippa really trying to chase Manskirt down. He does survive. Oh, on 20 health. So he does survive.
2 lucky arrows coming out for 0 there. Rave, my bad.
Good arrows by Rave to keep Manskirt alive. And they're going to keep their Uber advantage as well. They're at a full... Well, just a full advantage. I was about to say a full 90% advantage, but that's full lab. We all know what it is. And looks like they're opting to try to take this as quickly as they can. They know they need to get rounds up on the board, and they're going to take this catwalk, maybe? They're getting spammed out a little bit.
We can see the flank peeking out from Anvil trying to go through lower. It looks like they are trying to go through catwalk very slowly, but they're taking a lot of spam from Ben. As the Uber actually does come out, slowly jumping onto high ground with the demo. And Blue is just backing up, almost pick free, except for Tony B, who does end up going down in exchange for the entire Uber and the mid.
Yeah. They did do a lot of damage, but there just wasn't enough forward players to pick off the rest of it. So we're gonna have a leapfrog in the Uber situation, and we're gonna see Anvil set themselves up on second with a full 50% advantage. But yeah, you kind of wonder what the plan was for that Uber. I think, jump some players through, get some damage done, but unfortunately, because there was no forward scout to clean up all the damage that was being done, it's just it's not a wasted Uber, but it certainly was not a confident Uber. And now Anvil is already moving into bottom, and Big Chungus has been building really well. They're a full 90% right now. They just need to build the rest of this out, and they're gonna even it up. And
looks
now
like the Uber is coming from Blue through Kitchen as the Uber does get popped off. Uber hasn't come out yet for Rave either on side Big Chungus, as the Uber, they do manage to exchange finally.
The Manskirt goes down, Wizard Pirate goes down as well.
And we'll trade off Tony B for those as well. Looks like Rave is barely alive, but it looks like the picks are evened out. There's a slight advantage coming for Anvil, and they're trying to push their way back in.
And they pick up Rave. They pick up Rave. So unlucky. Shasti is on the back cap, doing his best to bring players behind. The Big Chungus, they do love that back cap play. Trippa getting some damage done, but he's going to be picked off by Hexu. Oh my god, they've got the cap. They've got the cap. Oh, that's gonna release so much pressure. Hexu is just going to run straight the hell to last. Veg is on last as well. He's going to pick up Jordan.
Picked off from lower. I guess he was just trying to leave and couldn't make it out in time.
So Hexu does not commit to the last push. Wizard Pirate does commit instead, but Shasti and Hexu really coming in clutch there. As I said, Big Chungus, they love a back cap play. That was half of their strive in Granary, if we're honest. But that really salvaged that, because had they not have capped that point, Big Chungus would be in a really bad position. They had lost Rave. They had lost every player except Shasti and Hexu. And now,
we can actually see Anvil actually has the full Uber, whereas Rave only has about 85. But they actually have chosen to instead go full Highlander on this, with Engineer, Heavy, and Sniper. As looks like there's a Sniper also coming out from Wizard Pete on the side of Big Chungus Gaming.
Yeah. Will we see Ben go full Kresnik mode as the heavy weapons guy? Maybe. Will we see Trippa go full? I don't know any Highlander snipers, I'm sorry. But he does see Hexu. He's not going to get any shots off on him. He's playing patient. Looks like he was waiting for the med to commit in and tried to get the headshot. Can Trippa or Wizard Pirate go Yosh mode and get some picks as well? Wizard Pirate taking a bit of a peek in here. I think he's waiting for the sniper v sniper duel to settle itself out first, but Manskirt's going to go down by a big headshot by Trippa. Really, maybe Trippa funneling that Yosh play.
Actually, and he's taking out the sniper as well.
He's gonna take down
free
Wizard Pirate.
For Big Chungus, ready to push in. No demo, no stickies. I mean, that's pretty common. As we can see, actually, Anvil's chart. Big Chungus is actually backing up as well. A little bit of aggressive spam coming out from Shasti, but actually looks like they're going to be able to hold on after losing their demo as well. Jordan being taken down by some aggressive soldier play.
Well, the Uber does come out for Brave. I don't know if they took the center or if they were forced. I was alt-tab looking for chat. And but they're not going to get anything. They do get the Uber forced out, so that's going to be good. They can regress, but it looks like they're opting to play it slow again and just wait for the ad to build. Impala, don't know what he was doing there. Where he should have been building, he did opt to try to get a cheeky arrow onto a player, maybe get a sneaky frag. Does not get anything. And then Big Chungus is again building. They're building really well. They've turned what was going to be even into a 50 ad situation. And Anvil. Anvil has not been building well at all. Impala is only about 40% now, and they've built what was evens into a 50% ad, and I think they're going to push off of this too.
Coming in through lower, actually, with their full combo, Soldier does jump in. They're looking to focus the sentry gun down early as the engineer is rushing to heal it.
They haven't gotten the sentry. They finally, well, they get the heavy, they get the sentry down as well, but they drop 3 in the exchange already. Shasti playing high ground, but doesn't look like it's going to come to anything. Yeah, that's a full wipe. Anvil holding really well there, despite the Uber disadvantage. The three off-class play, it works, folks. It really does work.
You can also see that when Big Chungus was trying to push into last, you could see they could barely had any cap time as well, and that's pretty influential when it comes into how you're playing that last and how the frags are being dictated. As looks like the Uber's being popped out through kitchen right now. A little bit of aggression, but Scout is able to end up being caught. Looks like two players are hiding on top of mid though, trying to bomb in now, getting a lot of damage onto the medic, but unfortunately does get picked off, and the Wizard Pirate just ends up cratering.
He survives so close to being dead. The Wizard Pirate and Fancy Sun trying to get some late frags in, but it happens. They do have, Big Chungus does have a 30% advantage here, and again they have been building really well, whereas Anvil has not been building quite as well, but they've opted just to go all the way to last. See, on that last push that they had, that Big Chungus had, they looked like they really didn't know who to shoot. They had a sentry they had to deal with, they had a heavy that they had to deal with, and as a result, their attention was split, and they don't get the frags that they needed, and they end up full wiping on last. They do still have a 50% advantage here, and as I said, they have been building really well, and they've been really cognizant of these Uber advantages as well. So it looks like they're opting to run this into kitchen. They haven't used yet. Ben trying to get something happen. Ben actually does get picked down. There are no players behind for Anvil to do a back cap, and they're just going to leave second, or they're going to leave mid, and Big Chungus is going to win this virtually uncontested. But the Ubers have evened out at this point. So you wonder if we're going to see a sack v sack game. We're actually going to see Shasti come in, try to do a quick snap jump, steep jump. Now all of Big Chungus has committed. They've picked up Shasti, Anvil has. They haven't picked enough other frags have come out. Wizard Pirate has come out. The Ubers have come out as well. Jordan is down, so this is a good pick for Big Chungus. And then Hexu picks up Ben. Veg goes down too. The cap is coming out. And oh my god, Trip is trying to get some pressure in from behind. Now it's just 2 players up for Anvil. Big Chungus is just going to try to roll this straight into last. Fancy Sun jumping immediately, starting to get some point pressure. That's going to turn a lot of heads. The 3 heads that are up. And they've gotten the point halfway cap. There are 2x on the cap. Big Chungus gets the cap. That's going to be 3-1. Big Chungus, or 3-1 Anvil. But a really good last play. A really good, just really aggressive play right there. They had the even Ubers, but they sack in Shasti, and then in the space that they create, they bring in the rest of the team and start picking off players. So that was a really, really bold dry fight there on the side of Big Chungus. But tell us what's happening in this mid fight, Antlers.
We're seeing both demos exchange spam as Soldier does take top left and top right in blue team. Soldier does bomb across onto the demo, does get the pick. looks like 2 players down for Anvil so far, while all is still up for Big Chungus. And actually, Anvil's backing up, but the player's still behind. It does look like Shasti is being taken out for staring at 4 people, though, so that's kind of probably him being picked out a little early for his sake. As we're looking at Big Chungus actually pushing into second.
Yeah, again, they're just really aggressive. They're trying to... They're really not giving Anvil any space to breathe at the moment. They do get the Uber. I mean, they get the point. Both teams still have Uber as well, if anybody had lost track of that. But they get the point. But now, again, they have to figure out how are they going to break this last hold, because Anvil has a sniper, an engineer, and a heavy weapons guy up on the point. All of which have buffs or are in the process of receiving buffs.
I will say, we gotta keep a Shasti spy cam going on right now as he's trying to approach in through lower. Does get a buff before he does go in. As we can see the engineer and heavy setup on last. Shasti is coming in from lower, as looks like the rest of Big Chungus isn't really getting a lot of ground.
Shasti is on the stock spy watch too, so... But he's gonna get caught out. He gets the med! Oh my god, he gets the med drop! So that's gonna be a good trade if you're Big Chungus, and it looks like they're opting to take this in right immediately. Manskirt gets the Uber in. They're gonna take down the sentry. The sentry goes down very quickly. They've got to focus this heavy. The heavy is getting hard focused, and now it's just Jordan trying to get any sort of traps that he can. But oh my god, it's a full wipe. That's gonna be 3-2. Big Chungus coming back in the second half in style. They just need to get one more round to even it up. But again, this is where that second half mentality of Big Chungus starts to come in. They dropped 3 rounds early in the first half, but now they're really trying to take this driver's seat. They're really trying to get into the highest gear they can and continue to drive forward. On this mid fight, we're going to see stickies exchange across the point. Both soldiers really, no soldiers are committed for med yet. Both soldiers have opted just to play high ground. Manskirt is really far alone on the point. And there really hasn't been any frags coming out yet. Shasti is on 66 health. Hexy goes down. Ben's really weak. No other frags being exchanged as of yet as well. Fancy Sun finally does go down. And then that's going to be Big Chungus' cue just to get out of dodge and cut their losses and run for the heavens. Will Shasti go down? He looks like he's going to get caught out there for a second. Does not get caught out whatsoever. So both teams doing a lot of damage, but no team's really getting the frags until...
They're seeing a scout hider right now as Anvil's making their push in. I don't think they've checked it quite yet. As we're seeing the rest of Big Chungus back up a little bit.
And
looks like Wizard Pirate's on the med. He gets the force.
He gets the force. He gets Impala down to 25 health.
Looks like Rave was force as well.
Yeah, the Uber does come out for Rave as well. Veg is very weak below. I don't think he's been caught yet. He finally goes down. Anvil ends up dropping 2 in that exchange.
Ben is behind though, getting caught out. He does end up dying to Hex. And there still is a sniper up from Fancy Sun as well.
Yeah, I think this is where you're going to see Big Chungus' willingness to continue with off-class plays out of second and last holds. And Fancy Sun, he did in one of Big Chungus' officials, I think, go on a 5 or 6K pushing last with a sniper, so he certainly can hit a shot better than Hexy can hit a shot. We'll say that.
Evidently.
So this is So this is good if you're Big Chungus. You know, they losing the mid fight but holding second, retaking mid, and now having a player who's on the sniper, who's very confident on the sniper class as well, to try to get picks. And again, Big Chungus has been building really well. They've turned an even Ubers into a full Uber, not a full Uber, a 20% ad situation. Trippet has come up on the sniper as well, but he's just not finding any angles. He is opting to push lower. He gets a shot off on, I think it was Ben. Gets a shot off on Ben, but does not get the headshot, the ever crucial, critical hit.
It looks like they're coming in through Saw with the sniper as well, trying to see if they can get any angles, but it looks like the demo is spamming them out. And there actually is a sniper out with Trippa as well, in lower. Looks like they're choosing to retaliate. As, looks like Medic and Bow Scouts are holding towards Saw, and blue team's Medic, Zero, is hanging out on the point, just waiting for something to happen. Classic Team Fortress 2. One thing I did want to talk about, though, is that was actually the second mid that Anvil had won so far, despite them actually being up 3-2. And that's actually pretty interesting, because Snakewater definitely holds less of an impact in terms of mids than Granary does.
Oh, Trippa goes down. Fancy Sun gets a go-ahead shot on the sniper. And now Wizard Pirate really trying to make some pressure happen. A soldier jumps in, hits bats. They get the Uber force out. They picked up 3 as well. Jordan and Ben both down as well on the side of Anvil. And Brave has not used his Uber whatsoever. They're going to leave a Scout or Fancy Sun to cap. They're going to leave someone to cap. And Tony V and Veg on 50 health apiece. And it's going to be Manskirt, Pirate, and the soldier Ubered in. And then Wizard Pirate is just going to get early cap time. The soldier also has the Pain Train. And that Big Chungus has leveled it up in this grand final. 3-3 on Snakewater. They do also have the first map, so they just need 2 more rounds to take the series. But Anvil started the first half strong. Second half haven't really been able to unlock the door and get the rounds. And we're just going to see more stickies traded across the point. Shasti goes in quite early, going to get picked up by Veg. Fancy Sun ends up picking up Veg in retaliation. He's being chased hard by Trippa. Doesn't get anything. Hexu very, very weak. He's going to end up cratering. Fancy Sun is still hiding around. He has entered Crew's kitchen. He's getting jumped on the med. He does not pick up the med though. He got him down quite weak. But now it's a 4-3-3. They still do have a demo on both sides. But it looks like Big Chungus is just going to opt to retreat. And then Wizard Pirate is going to get taken down late in the fight. They do have Uber, so they're not going to give up any space into Saw. And looks like Anvil is just opting to coalesce on the point, get everybody buffed up, figure out the plan is to push into second.
And if anything, there we go. It's even mid caps in terms of coming in. It looks like what Anvil's strategy currently is to kind of hold back and let the soldiers just bomb in while they passively let them die until they can push back in with player red. And that's been working out very well for them. It doesn't look like Big Chungus has a huge comeback for that quite yet. As it looks
yeah,
like
they've been really patient They've been very patient in that mid, like you said. They're expecting that soldier aggression, those double bombs that we were seeing on Granary, waiting for the soldiers to come in and die, and then re-push out with the aggression. But we're gonna see a big shot. Tony V slingshotting himself all the way into lobby. And he's going to be, looks like he's getting pressured on by Hexu, and Hexu is going to take him down. Actually, Manskirt does take him down. But that's the rest of the heat. Jordan does go down, though. Jordan's gone down on the side of Anvil. Manskirt really putting the pressure on, gets the force out. They have not used, they finally use back into Anvil. There are no players behind for the back cap for Anvil. It's just going to be Hexu again, like earlier we saw, a man on a mission does not pick up the med though, but they do pick up the point, and we're going to even the Uber situation out. And Big Chungus, they have been building very well, so we could very much see this this even Uber situation turn into an ad situation if they play their cards right. And you're seeing it happen. Veg does come out on the sniper class, but yeah, it looks like again Big Chungus just very opting just to wait a little bit. Ben in that same hiding spot that Wizard Pirate was in as well, but yeah, it looks like they're just willing to get the Uber and then make a push from there. Veg on the sniper class, where is he holding?
Looks like he's trying to peek Saw right now, maybe to get a forward angle. Unfortunately, he isn't able to get anything. He's being spammed up by the demo. And it looks like Red is trying to peek lower a little bit, but does end up backing up. As it looks like we're hitting another stalemate, waiting for something to happen. One thing I kind of wanted to touch on, though, on that last Uber exchange where we lost both Jordan and Tony B on that double sack, basically, was you can see Jordan actually getting a little cocky almost. Oh, never mind. Veg is actually getting shots off.
Down.
Let's see if we can get a counter sack.
There we go.
Let's see if we can potentially get a counter sack coming out from Anvil, but they do have the snipers. They may not be willing to be aggressing that strongly quite yet. It does look like Tony B is taking a little bit of ground, but he is being caught out and taking a bit of spam. He does jump in eventually, being launched forward by some traps, and ends up in the other team's...
The Uber does come out. Shasti gets taken down by Ben. Ben gets taken down in retaliation. Instead, Wizard Pirate goes down. Veg is down. And this is Big Chungus. So now putting a lot of pressure on this lower area. They haven't gotten any more frags. Manskirt does go down. Fancy Sun on the mid. Fancy Sun does pick up Trippa. It's only Trippa alive. He's fighting Fancy Sun, but Fancy Sun, he wins that 1v1. And that's going to be Fancy Sun yelling Pog in the chat. And Rave is running forward. It's just been in Veg up on the side of Anvil, but it looks like It looks like Big Chungus again slowing things down, not wanting to force any mistakes, waiting for players, waiting for ad, and waiting to push. But
That's
that
absolutely
was
the right play too. I mean,
yeah,
there's no need to be
100%.
pushing down with 40 Uber and only 3 players up, which is a recipe for disaster. As we do see Trippa on sniper, we see Ben on heavy, but we do not see the engineer coming out, as we have seen Big Chungus pull off in the past.
Well, it looks like they're moving in top right now. They're maybe going to catch out Tony B. They don't get Tony B. The heavy weapons guy is up on the top. He's going to get focused immediately. The heavy weapons guy is down. Hexer's gone down. Manskirt's gone down. Shosty's gone down. This is bad for Big Chungus. They don't have any players that can play the point. It's just Fancy Sun up on the high ground, but he's going to try to get the med in a last gasp desperation play. Does not pick up anybody. Impala lives with 88% Uber advantage. So a bit unlucky if you're Big Chungus, but you know, if you're Anvil, having dropped 3 rounds early in the second half, you're going to be happy with that. We only do have 10 minutes left to play. Could we see a golden cap situation? I don't think either team would really like to go to that golden cap, because it can be very much a coin toss with how the round ends up being finalized. But the Uber does get forced out in kitchen. Looks like Impala was down on 32 health. A back cap is going on potentially. Nope, Shosty's going to get taken down. Impala does get taken down after the Uber fade. Trippa does go down as well. And Big Chungus immediately back on the front foot. They just don't want to give Anvil any space once they get that advantage that they need. Brave gets the pack out of Saw. Manskirt and Wizard Pirate fighting Veg on grass. They do pick up Veg. They're going to start getting cap time again, and it looks like, yeah, they're going to build the rest of this ad, but they're going to have to move quickly. They're going to have to start moving right now, because they're going to get spawners in just a second. Ben and Veg spawn in 5 seconds, but they're in on the right. They use Uber. They take down Jordan very quickly. There is a sentry. I don't know where the sentry is. The sentry's gone.
They twist back to scouts, and it does look like Big Chungus is actually taking this 3-4 in their advantage.
Yeah. This again, the second half comeback is on Big Chungus. You know, every time they get that advantage, they smell blood and they move like sharks in the water. This is really good for them. They've taken the lead in this round, or in this tie. This is a 4-3 game. They just need this next round. Anvil needs to get this round as fast as they can. Sticky's being traded across the point. Tony B jumping in, trying to get some pressure. Both Ben and Tony on the high ground. Trippa does go down quite early. Ben gets taken down as well. Everybody on Big Chungus still really healthy except for Wizard Pirate, but he's currently in beam range. Jordan's in no man's land. He's all alone. He's isolated. He's on an island. He's being focused on by Hexu. Will Hexu get the frag? Hexu does get the frag, and then the rest of Anvil is just going to back out as fast as they can. Jordan with a frowny face in the chat.
It does make sense. It's good that Anvil was able to get their med out in that situation. That's an incredibly powerful position to leave them on last, so they don't get 5-3'd right away.
100%. But Big Chungus, again, Wizard Pirate immediately on point, and Big Chungus are opting to move as fast as they can again. Are they, or are they slowing it down a little bit more? You know, maybe again, just scouting it out, just, oh, what happened? How are we gonna move? We don't know how we're gonna move.
We actually do see a sniper and engineer coming out on the blue team for Anvil, as he does actually get a pick onto Fancy Sun. It's very likely we'll see Fancy Sun actually go into sniper himself, as we
Wizard Pirate committed really deep there. He almost started getting cap time, but then one of the soldiers noticed where he was running to and spams him out. But again, that's more of that bravado that you get once you, especially when you manage to roll something from 3-0 down to be in the tie 4-3. Fancy Sun has come up on the heavy weapons class. The heavy weapons guy on a last push on Snakewater. Haven't seen that before. Have seen it on other ones, but
goalie wash being a for sure.
Yeah,
actually, if nothing else, we can see Ben's position right now, standing really high on top of the Blue Industries signs. This is a really passive way to hold the left and the lower, but it's pretty good if you want to be non-committal in how you're taking damage. They're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I lost my train of thought. Please continue on. I'm enjoying it.
Looks like we can see Shostley taking a little bit of aggressive spam, trying to poke out any info that he might be able to get. Doesn't find any sentry gun because it is on the truck this time. So it looks like they're just backing up. They might be going in for a force of some kind with Shostley. He does look like he's trying to do the Snakewater speed shot, but he does get taken down by Tony B at the very end of it, being shafted by the sentry gun, I guess.
Trippa with the don't, and then Shasti coming back and saying, check the scoreboard. But yeah, it looks like they're willing to start pushing in. They've actually, oh my god, is it going to happen one more time? Oh, could it be a back cap on Granary? R and Snakewater last to win the round. They've flashed in the heavy. They flashed a bunch of players. It's just Manskirt on the point, and that is the game. That is game, set, match.
Incredible.
The series is
Incredible.
done. Big Chungus Gaming taking the series. They are your RGL Season 2 Open Grand Champions with a 5-0 win on Granary and a 5-4 or a 5-3, sorry, a 5-3 comeback on Snakewater. What a way to do that. I saw that unfold right in front of my eyes. You saw the team, you saw Anvil push out through lobby onto bridge as soon as they committed Hexu, the heavy, and the med all through under, Uber into last, take down the sentry, take down any players, and get the cap. Very, very well played. They are deservedly your open grand champions, ladies and gentlemen. And what a way to do it. 2 back caps on grand. One, I guess you can kind of consider that a back cap given the relative positions of the rest of the players on Snakewater. And yeah.
I will say, Anvil,
well
that was a huge display of probably a little bit of impatience going on there with that Uber push. That was only one pick that they had an advantage, and they chose to take it out anyway, despite being on last and at match point. Yeah. That's a very aggressive play that ended up just not working out for them.
Well, so scores are going to be broken when the logs are pulled up, viewers, just because of the server issues that we were having. I'm just going to ask my producer, Luster, are we going to get any interviews by chance? I know a couple people on Big Chungus, just a few. Okay, I will send a message. Take us through some of these log antlers while
you can actually see that despite Anvil losing that fight, they actually ended up with more frags overall by over 20. Not over 20, but 18 total. And it looks like Big Chungus only had one more Uber, so it just really ended up coming back with the cohesion plays that really changed the impact of the game. Jordan, with his 535 DPM last round, now is only at just under 300. So they must have really figured out a way to counter him in that play. And that must have been a huge impact on how Big Chungus actually ended up winning Grand Finals. If we look at the medic deaths, we can actually see that they're actually fairly consistent with 8 and 9 for Anvil and Big Chungus respectively. I guess that just means that when your team wiped it, the team wiped. That just is what happened. You can see that the demos ended up dying roughly the amount of same times as their med. So, overall, it just meant that their combos stuck together.
Yeah, definitely, and I think as well, Big Chungus were, yeah, they're really sleepwalking into that first half of Snakewater. Excuse me. Yeah, they're a bit sleepwalky. Still maybe the aggression of Anvil really caught them out. But I think this is where that what's it, the half system comes into play in that, which I like, where like you can lose 3 rounds early and then go into halftime and talk a little bit about how the game's going, what's going on, and then change your strats accordingly. And I think obviously Big Chungus did that very well, taking 5 rounds in that second half. So, we are still working on interviews, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me just a little bit longer, but we'll try to get some people in here as fast as we can. I might hop into the Big Chungus Discord and see what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say that pause time, they probably just sat back, considered what they were doing, maybe watched their hype reel again, and really just came back. And that's them coming back is what won them that game, and eventually the entire championship. Really well done coming out from Big Chungus and the players overall as well.
Sorry, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. We do have Wizard Pirate. I'm going to drag Wizard Pirate in, and then we're going to actually I don't have permissions to drag Wizard Pirate in, but we also have Rave from Big Chungus coming in very quickly as well. So that was yeah, that was a good grand final. I thought that some janky strats coming out. We saw heavy plays. We saw 3 back caps, but ultimately at the end of the day, the most important thing for a game is like what the score reads at the top of the board. It doesn't matter how you get the cap as long as you get the cap, and Big Chungus did that to great effect. And as a result, are walking out champions of Open.
And we'll actually be talking to 2 of their players in a second, as long as we can actually get them into the mumble with us.
That'd be your job, Mooster. Oh, maybe we can just drag ourselves into the other one. Sorry, we're doing our best. We are joined.
Very briefly by Wizard Pirate.
Well, he was here and now he's disappeared, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
We have Rave and Wizard Pirate, the medic and the scout.
Flank scout. Yeah.
Flank scout for Big Chungus. Guys, congratulations! Two really exciting games on
Thank you so much.
on both maps. I mean, how are you guys feeling after that?
Pretty great. It was a really fun game.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it without my friend Broman48.
How do you feel about it?
So shout out to him. I think it was a very fun and exciting game. Couldn't have asked for much more out of that final. But
I think he's muted. But yeah, I can speak for both of us. It was really fun. There were some really fast-paced moments which we really like to thrive in, and for the people who are hating, saying back caps aren't real wins, a win is a win.
I will say, I'm interested in your mentality coming to the Snakewater second half. You guys did end up coming back with a 5.0 from a 3.0 deficit. What exactly went on in the comms that helped turn that around?
Okay,
sorry, can you hear me?
One thing that we're really good at is coming back from deficits. We, throughout the season, have when we played Kaboom Collective, who was the first seed, we played them on Clear Cut, and we had lost 3-1. Well, we were losing 3-1. We came back, and we're just really good at talking about what we're bad, not doing so well at, and then just I guess coming back.
Yeah,
we just like to talk about what we're doing wrong, and we're very methodical when we talk in the half times.
And we
usually take our time and figure out what they're doing to beat us. Like, for example, their soldiers were getting to mid really quickly, and they were denying our double bombs, which was kind of our main play on mid. So we had our demo sticky up top just so that their soldiers wouldn't get there that fast, and if they did, they would just die. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, excellent, man. So I mean, so with those Snakewater that Snakewater turnaround, was it a thing of just we you guys lost the rounds, had a chat, figured out what was going on, and then went from there? Or was it more once you got that round and got that that excitement going, that you were able to snowball into those round conversions into, the 5 you got, because you turned around a 3-0 deficit into a 5-0 win, or I guess a 5-3 win.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, because we're a very emotional team, and if we get down, it's kind of hard to pick ourselves back up, and I think that's why the halftime kind of helps us calm ourselves down. And so once we figured out what they were doing and we got that first round, we just kind of smelled blood in the water and just kept on running with it.
And tell me, I'm very curious. I wanna hear a little bit about the back cap plays that you guys had because I counted I counted 2, maybe 3 if you count that last cap where you had on Granary we had one where I think it was maybe it wasn't Wizard, it might have been Shasti or the other
Was it at the end now? I
soldier.
think that was Fancy Sun.
It was on Granary. It was the first back cap. And
Okay.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
There's one player he was hiding in Zed, and then as soon as the other team committed, he started getting on point, and then took a 1v1, won that fight, and then ended up capping last. But I'm curious about the second back cap, the Greg gap back cap play. For those who don't know, the Greg play is when on Granary, when a team is pushing into mid, you get calls on where they're coming from and you go out the other way. It's called Greg because I love my boy Dilwax. Shout out to you, Dilwax and Oz Fortress. Honestly, a hero, a legend, and the coolest guy I know. But what were the comms like when that was going on?
yeah.
Dude,
so
they were so
we,
PogChamp.
From our mentor, Just Jazz, we learned about the Greg play because Granary mid is uniquely like the choke points. You can't really see them. So if one team's going out one choke point and one team's going in a choke point, you can't really see the team going out. So we used his Greg play and we kind of built on it. And we would have players sack in, 2 or 3, usually our combo, so that they would think, oh, they must have messed up. We're just gonna come through either garage or death corner, and then. Once those players would go, we would just speedily walk through the other choke point. And it's a kind of a set play that we have. Granary, we like to have a lot of set plays that we did, that we like to do.
Yeah.
And
go ahead, Jess.
sorry, I'm getting hit by messages all over the place. Either way, I think we can wrap that up here. I think you guys played both maps extremely well, and I think especially coming back from that 3-0 deficit on Granary to or sorry, not on Granary, on Snakewater to win the game 5-3 shows a lot of like resilience and a lot of just willingness to grind it out to the very bitter end. So I'm curious, just what are your plans for next season?
We haven't decided whether we're going to go into main or IM. We think we would be a strong playoff contender for IM next season, and if we go into main, we'd probably be a low main team. So we just want to kind of decide which would be better for our improvement, because we, as a team, intend to go into next season all together, and maybe even the fall.
100%. Well, that'll be really good to see. I'm excited to see where you guys go. I'm excited to see what the boys in Anvil do as well. I think they played really valiantly, especially on Snakewater, and unfortunately weren't able to get the win. But that's life, and you just have to take the wins when they come, and you have to take the losses when they come. We're gonna do quick shout outs real quick. We're gonna work down the line from top to bottom. Antlers, any shout out, my friend?
I just want to shout out everybody in the Mr. Clean's cleaning crew Discord, and I don't know. Obviously, shout out to my mom. It's just a given.
Shout out to Antler's mom as well. So shout outs for me. Shout outs Bro Moment in Oz Fortress. Shout out my boys Dino Squad in Oz Fortress as well. 3rd place finishers in Open. I love you boys. And shout outs to my boy Dilwax, the creator of Greg and the influencer of the Greg back cap play. Looster, any shout outs that I can say on stream for you?
I'm on stream. I don't got anything. Just shout out to all the casters and producers who helped out through RGL Season 2. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with RGL Season 3. So just stay up to date on TFTV, and we'll have a lot more action coming to you here probably in about a month.
Yep, make sure you hit that follow button so you get notified every time we go live on air. Rave, the medic champion of Open this season, what's your shout out?
I got a few. Shout out to all my family watching it. I got pretty much my entire family watching it, which is great. Even people in Peru. Shout out to the big Chungus squad. they're the ones who made it happen. Shout out to my friends at IIT, and shout out to Yumi also. Thank you for watching.
And then the last man, Wizard Pirate, Flank Scout Extraordinaire. What you got?
Thank you. Muted. Am I still muted? Can you hear me?
No, you're good.
Am I good? Okay, sorry. I'm not used to mumble. Big shout out to the entire team. Everyone did amazing, especially Hex. He was kind of leading a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. So shout out to him. And then all the people who helped us. We got Manskirt, Fancy Sun, Rave, Hex, Upsilon, Shasti, all of us making it big next year. I'm excited.
Well, it'll be good to see. It's always good to see when teams keep themselves together and try to continue to move on up the ladder. But I am going to close the broadcast out on that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Team Fortress TV's last cast of the season for the RGL Open Grand Final. Big Chungus is your champions for this season. Will they do it next season? We'll see. I am Just Jazz. I have been joined by Antlers with the incredible Looster 200 on production as always. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next season.
Have a nice night, everybody.